Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review and TV review series. Today we'll be discussing Squid Game Season 3. So I watched the season yesterday, finished it up watching with my brother over these holidays. Figured I'd give it a quick thought, some quick words, considering we just finished up our book report or book study on Korea. And obviously Squid Game, very popular TV show hosted on Netflix, came out in 2021. If you've not seen one of me do one of these before, I'll give you my overall thoughts and impressions. I typically read the introduction, but this is just a bunch of debt-ridden people are fighting life or death games to win a prize. So there's not much overview. I think I have reviewed season 1, did not do a separate one for season 2, but this will kind of just be, but once I give my overall impressions, I'll give a grade, just graded like A through F, like the American school system. And if you have not seen the show and would like to, you're going to want to turn off the video because there will be spoiler alerts. I'll talk you through the plot as best as I can remember, or just the overall major themes or characterizations that I liked, didn't like, or provided some sort of novelty in the writing. Because when I do these, again, what I do with language doesn't really matter the context, whether I watch a movie, listen to a speech, read a book. And so for fiction, for television, I just like to see any sort of plot, any sort of characterizations that's new, that's novel, that makes you think. You don't have to agree with it, disagree with it, just something that's interesting. And regardless, you know, if you're watching a movie for 2 hours or a TV show for 10 hours, if you keep me entertained, you get a pretty good grade. And so season 3 opens up, season 2 ends in the middle of like the second games. Player 456, the main character, see if I can recognize him. So these are what's like, I can never tell, a lot of times I can't tell the characters, the actors, like the individuals, they just kind of like look different with their makeup and stuff. So regardless, player, whoever the actor is, but player 456 is our main character. At the end of season 2, he kind of stages this rebellion. He won the first games, and now he's gone back to try to shut down the whole operation. So he's back in the games. They had this big firefight at the end of season 2. And now they're starting up season 3 and they're introducing a new game. They're going to play hide and seek. And so overall, I thought the pace of the show was pretty good. There was some of the plot that I didn't connect, but that's on a personal level because I didn't watch season 2 recently. And so the overall pace, I thought was well done. The exploration of the context, you know, a bunch of people gathered to kill each other or win money. Not super novel by any means. It was novel in the societal aspect that it caught on and went pretty viral, but certainly not a new idea. But regardless, I thought there was more. They could have done more with the overall plot development. And so nothing super novel, super unique. We'll get into talking about why I say that. But overall, I will give Squid Game 3 I'll give it a B, just a flat B, entertaining, not near well done, but certainly above average. For me, I think my brother probably would have given it a little less. But regardless, it is, you know, originally in Korean. This one is dubbed. Season 1 is just text or subtitles. This one, season 2 and 3 are dubbed. And so, I'm 99% sure player 456 is Seong Gi-hoon or Lee Jung-jae. And I apologize if I butcher all of these Korean names. And so, if you've not watched the show and you'd like to, you're going to want to shut off the video. So like I said, you open up, you just had this big firefight. Player 456 gets a bunch of other people that try to escape killed. It's not really his fault, but he's kind of off-put, standoffish. He's just like destitute. He's desolate. They handcuff him to a bedpost. He doesn't really interact with a lot of the other players. He's still the main character. But when they're doing these different votings in between games, if they want to keep going, continue on, he's just basically, he abstains from pretty much everything. So you open up, you have one of the female guards is, they're harvesting organs still, and one of the female guards has her husband and daughter are killed, or were killed, or you think that at least at the beginning, but she helps one of the players escape, and he has a wife and a daughter, and they kind of play on that she's helping him vicariously to help herself. And so that's kind of going on throughout the whole season. The season's 6 episodes, each about an hour long. the 456 and other players are playing the game, and then you have the similar to season 2, where the VIPs come in. In this game, they actually participate, they kill a couple people. It's not a huge plot development. But regardless, the first game they play is hide and seek. I want to say there's probably about 50 people left throughout the season, and obviously you lose characters as the games go on. But you have hide and seek, and so a couple major developments there. You have the VIPs, they come in and shoot a couple people, play a little bit. Like I said, not super big, but there's a character, an older lady and a son who are in there, and again, I'll try to find them, but major characters, there's a son and an older lady who's like a grandma age, and basically they're playing hide and seek, and her son, like each person on the seeking team, they have to kill one of the people hiding. And you can kind of get out, you kind of can't, but they're just kind of running around. So regardless, the older lady with the son, who are both playing the game, and there's another female player who gets pregnant, and she's pregnant with another player. But regardless, basically what happens is the newborn, during playing hide and seek, this woman gives birth. The older lady, the grandma character, her son's playing as well, and they're, the whole time their characterizations is, we're going to survive together. So I didn't think that was very, strong in and of itself, considering, the rules of the game. So even, if they get to the next game, at some point they're going to have to kill each other. And so basically what happens is the son of the older lady realizes that he has to kill either the newborn mother or the child. And so he's like going in to kill her, and then his mother stabs him to death. And so it was just a bizarre, again, it's a fictional movie, so if you want to kill off anybody, go for it. But it was just so strange to characterize them as, we're going to stick it out together, which didn't really make sense to begin with. And then the mother is going to kill her own son as a way to show, protecting the newborn life. I don't know, that just, again, struck me as a strange characterization. Obviously, it's a fictional show. So that was strange to me. Within that game, again, the chick who is breaking out, the guard who is helping one of the other players get to his wife and daughter, she's running around doing stuff. Like the headmaster, the guy running the games, was a former player, and that's kind of what's going on there. But regardless, they finish up hide and seek. That was the biggest weird kind of categorization to me, or characterization, or development. The next major game they play, they get to the end pretty quickly. Like I said, it's only 6 episodes. And so, again, 456 abstaining, but then they have to play, so there's 2 more games. Then they play jump rope. And basically you have a big metal pole swinging around, kind of a thin train track looking bridge with a gap in it, and they have to run across in 15 minutes. Everyone else dies, and the thing can knock you off, and you fall really, really, kind of like the glass bridge from season 1, where you just fall a really large, big distance and you die. Which I don't know. I feel like they would splatter, or they'd be more deformed than what the show presents. But regardless, 456, the main character, he takes this newborn baby because the newborn mother, her ankle's all messed up from hide and seek, so she can't really jump across the bridge. And so he goes across and he's like, I'll come back for you, I'll come back for you. The second guy that goes across is actually kind of funny. He just decides, he turns around and is like, if I just knock off the other Joes trying to come across the bridge, there's less people. So he just starts kicking people off the bridge, kind of funny. I like that development, that was funny. But regardless, a bunch of the people, then the main character, 456, kind of tells that guy to stop kicking people off the bridge, because his characterization is still, let's save as many lives, let's stop the games as best we can. And so, in addition, another major, you have that the brother of the headmaster from the first games, that's looking for the island. They're continuing to do that in the background as well, another major development throughout the series. And so on the jump rope, they get to the end, the baby's across, 456 across, another handful of the players are across, just a handful of them have died, and the mother, the newborn mother now, is realizing she's not going to get across. So and the father of the child is still in the game as well. And so she basically is just like, I'm going to fall off the edge, kill myself, and give my child a shot. And player 456 does not know that the husband, or the father at least, is still alive and playing the game. And so she dies off. the older lady that killed her own son in the hide and seek game, she ends up hanging herself like immediately after. And that whole characterization was just weak, very weak in my opinion. Regardless, they are doing finish up the jump rope, and they give them another vote, and it's like, hey, you guys can end now with this amount of however much won you have, or the next game is the final game, and all you have to do is kill a minimum of like 3 people, and then I think at this time there's like 8 or 9 people left. You can first of all choose if you want to play the next game, and they end up choosing so because they want more money, and then they just have to, the game is literally you just pick who you kill. They do it on really high platforms, and you just have to like push the person off. And so they play that game. It's kind of a couple kind of funny things in there. You have one of the characters who is really hopped up on drugs. He has like a chain necklace with drugs inside him. He takes it. That guy gets killed off in hide and seek. Because there's all other minor plot developments. I'm just giving you the major characterizations that struck out to me and stuck with me. And so he gets addicted, or he's already addicted. He dies off, and then one of the other like kind of extremely juvenile or just like scared, standoffish person playing this game finds the drugs. He takes it one time during the cross the bridge, and now he's going through like withdrawal. And so they're deciding who to kill in this final game, and they ended up just pushing that guy off first. And so it's kind of funny how that development presented. And then each time they go from a big square to a big circle to a big triangle, there's no real difficulty to the game. They just have to pick who to shove off the edge. And so you get to a position where it's very clearly going to be 456 is protecting the child. After the first pillar, after they push off the drug addict dude, they go on to the next pillar. 456 is protecting the baby, and it's very clear he's not going to let him go. The father comes out and is like, hey, that's my kid. So they kind of team up. So on the second platform, they get into a tussle. The 456 stabs and kills one guy. There's this big pole that comes up in the center of these platforms, and the guy is able to dislodge it and use it as a weapon. So he pushes somebody off. But point being is they kill too many people. And so they have one guy left, which is another funny development. I don't know what the translation is, but it's very clear it's a translation. But he's called the Lunchbox. And so basically they just injure this guy, so he's easy to kill and they can just throw him off the edge. And so there is I don't know if it's intentionally comedic, but it's just some of the characterizations just strike me as funny. Again, I don't know if it's a translation or if it's intentional, but regardless, it was a benefit in terms of the overall tone and progress of the plot for me. Because it gives like some comedic aspect to it. Because if it was just trying to be super serious, like 456 gonna stop the games and just, right, the good guy always wins in the end. This is a fictional show, like make something interesting happen. Regardless, they kill too many people. They still have the lunchbox guy, and he's like, I don't want to be a lunchbox, and he just kind of like rolls over the edges and kills himself. So now they have a problem. They killed too many people, so on the last platform, 456, the child's father and the child, who's literally an infant, are the 3 ones left, and they still have to kill somebody. And so basically no. Okay, so the father like tries to kill 456 by not allowing him to cross the platform, and what ends up happening is, as there's like a bridge that connects these 2 big platforms, and it like retracts, and as it's retracting, 456 jumps over to save himself, obviously, and they get into a tussle, and the father of the child dies. And so now it's only 456 and the infant, and he has to, am I going to chuck this little kid off the edge, or what am I going to do? So he ends up, just saying something simple like, human beings aren't meant to fight, or humanity isn't meant to kill each other, and then kills himself. So 456 does die at the end of this season. The child wins. Right at this time, this Coast Guard, the brother of the headmaster guy running the games, kind of closes in with the Coast Guard. So they scatter, they disperse. The one girl who was a guard that was from North Korea, again, trying to help this other player that has a wife, had a wife and a daughter. She helps him escape. He does escape. He ends up being just like a painter. You get like the last episode has like 30 minutes where it's like, 6 months later. And so basically the child gets the money. The daughter of player 456 gets money. In the absolute closing scene, you see some more people in the United States, in Los Angeles, playing that. They throw down the little packet that gets them into the Squid Games with the recruiters, so that's going on. I did look it up and it said, that's definitively the end for 456, but the creator of Squid Game, like the director, was open to other spin-offs. So I thought this was going to be a hard stop. It seems like there's still room. If they want to continue on the universe of Squid Games, they can. But that's really the end. Again, what the 456 is dead. His daughter gets money. I don't know who gets the baby. I feel like it's the brother of the police officer that finds it. Regardless, whoever is taking care of the baby now has a lot of money. And there's some sort of resolution to the North Korean guard who is part of the Squid Games guard people that helps the dude escape the island. So that pretty much wraps it up. Like I said, the old lady killing her son, again, just as a characterization, just made no sense to me. A couple of the other translations, again, I don't know what the original Korean was, nor do I speak Korean, so I don't know. But overall, I said I just give it a B. I found it entertaining. Could have been better, but not a super novel concept, but definitely a viral show. So thank you for watching. That's what I have to say about Squid Game Season 3, and I will see you on the next one.